What's up? It's Brad and Travis with Home Slice Disc Golf.
What's up, guys? We're here to review the Sidewinder by Innova and the Escape by Dynamic Discs. Hope you enjoy.
All right, so for the rims on these, they feel pretty similar. The Escape, you should be able to see here, it's a little bit more ramped through here, whereas in the Sidewinder, it's pretty flat. Both discs they're a little bit domey. They're not too crazy. They're not pop tops or anything, but they're not very flat.
Up first is the Dynamic Discs Escape. For me, this is a pretty straight flyer. Do not throw it into a headwind. Don't forehand it because it's just not stable enough. Unless you have a finesse flick, there's no way that you're gonna be able to flick this. Plastic-wise, Biofusion off the bat is a little bit more stable, but it beats in faster, just like all the Dynamic Discs and Trilogy plastics. Here's a Lucid one and a Tailwind. Man, do these things glide. They've got a little dome to them, so they seem to glide for days. So great Tailwind discs. Easy distance. Good for standstills. Shots that you can't get a lot of speed on. They seem to really go far with a lot or not much effort at all. Into a headwind, like I said, they like to turn over. Some turn and burn, some fade out. That one faded out there. If you give it enough air, it will, but typically it wants to just turn over. There are some forehands. As you can tell, weren't the cleanest releases, but I've got a couple clean releases, and they typically don't turn out very well. You can see it just ends left every time. Looks horrible. So the Innova Sidewinder I had no experience with before. I looked at the numbers like I probably shouldn't, and I thought this was going to be very understable. But honestly, it's almost exactly like the Escape. I'd say it's a little slower. As you can tell, it hyzer flips, sometimes ends right, especially into a headwind. Tailwind, it's just as glidey as the Escape, gets great distance. I don't know how far we were really throwing. We didn't measure it, but I'd say 350-ish. I was getting it out there. That one into a headwind, you can see it just holds that left to right. Fades out a little at the end, lands flat. The Glow Champion one, that was a brand new disc, and as you could tell, it's stable. It's a great disc. Great for the headwinds. That one I kind of anteed a little bit too much, but great disc. When it comes to forehanding these discs, don't do it. Just like the Escape, not a great disc to forehand. There's one. I hyzered that one, and that's that brand new Sidewinder, the Glow Champion, and it did fade out, but there's the star. Not a clean release, but again, it's too understable, especially into a headwind.
All right, so the Escape is kind of a disc that it's going to hold whatever line you put it on. If you throw it flat, you're probably going to be able to get a little bit of S out of it if you get a good rip on it. But if you put it on an ante, it's going to hold that for a while. It might start to fight out at the end. If you hyzer it, you may get it to flip up, but it'll end with a pretty hard hyzer. I definitely don't recommend it into a headwind, like Trav said. So, yeah, the day of filming, I've been suffering with a slight ante on my drives. So it's hard to get a really good take on how it was flying. I have some other experience with it other than this day, but when I'm throwing it well, I can get it to hyzer flip. Not a crazy hyzer, but a little bit of a hyzer flip. It'll flip and fly straight and then fade out at the end. If you throw it flat, you'll get a little bit of that S. And most of the time it fades out. It doesn't seem to fade out as hard as the Sidewinder does, though. All right, the Sidewinder for me, I can definitely get it to S easier than the Escape, but I think it kind of fights out of it a little bit harder. I don't think I had any that it didn't come out of that turn. So it always seems to fight back at the end. I still would not throw it into a headwind. It's not going to be good for that. But it's pretty glidey, like Trav said. You can get a little bit of distance out of it. The glow was definitely more stable. It was a brand new disc. That was the first day that we had thrown it. So that was definitely more stable than the rest of them. But the Star and the Champion, they both are gonna get you some S, and they'll come out of it.
Alrighty, y'all. Let's do a recap here. So we have the Dynamic Disc Escape and the Innova Sidewinder. The numbers don't look like they'd be pretty similar discs, but I've got
this is like one of those true circumstances of don't look at the numbers.
Exactly.
Because, like Trav was saying, they fly very similarly, and the numbers are way, way different.
The weird thing is they're both speed 9s, but I would actually say this is a little faster. But their turns are completely different and their fades. So of course the Escape, yeah, sorry. So the one number that they have the same is actually only thing different in my opinion is the speed. I'd say the Escape's a little faster. They're both not good headwind discs, like we said.
Yeah, they fly very similarly. From when I've thrown them, I think the Sidewinder fights. I think it's a little bit more high-speed stable than the Sidewinder, or than the Escape. But for me, I bagged the Sidewinder for a while, and I took it out of my bag, and then after doing this, I put it back in my bag. So this is what I prefer.
Who would have thought I would have picked the other disc? Yeah. I've thrown the Escape. This is the first dynamic disc I've ever thrown, was the Escape. Fell in love with it when I was a beginner, and starting to become a turnover disc now, especially this beat-in one. But I've got a brand new Moonshine one. This is pretty stable. Great disc. Highly recommend if you want a little more stable Escape. Other than that, it's a great disc. Really, it feels a little better in my hand. And it's just the first disc that I really threw and liked. Sidewinder, great disc, you know.
Yeah, I think you were pretty surprised when you were throwing it.
Yes.
You made the comment to me that you were really surprised with how well you threw this.
No experience with it, and it was very glidey, because I know everyone talks about the glide of this disc. I didn't realize, no one says anything about the Sidewinder, but great glide, goes forever.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching another disc comparison from us. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, leave a comment.
Yes.
Once we get some more subscribers, we'll probably be doing a video, probably within the next few weeks. So, doing a video? Doing a giveaway. Doing a giveaway.
That's right.
Doing a giveaway. Yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks.